Well, Alberton Oval for visiting teams has been somewhat of a graveyard, and certainly across the past century for South Adelaide it hasn't meant too many good times. They've only managed to win coming into this match 11 times at Alberton. But this afternoon, well, the Panthers were fairly strong against a bold Port Adelaide outfit.
Not a great stat to come to a game. You don't travel well with in confidence with that sort of stat, but they certainly fought hard. Port were able to get up on top early, but they fought back and they actually seemed to get a little bit stronger as the game went on.
Now, as you see here, this is the opening quarter, some of the highlights from the opening quarter. We see Port Adelaide led by 7 points, and there were stages when South Adelaide was really struggling. But as you said, Matt, they did come back through the agency of guys like Nick Little, and we just see that there were passages of play, of quite brilliant play from South Adelaide, and they certainly had a good forward in Michael Wunke to go to. If you talk about quality forwards, though, the performance by Terry Malira, this is in the third term when he kicked them back into the game, Port Adelaide. Magnificent stuff.
Yeah, an amazing goal there too. He just snapped without even having a look here, right on an almost impossible angle, but it looked like he'd actually broken the game open then, and Port were almost going to run away with it. But to South's credit, they did fight back.
Here's another example of Malira magic. And as we said, those 3 goals, and then they led by 12 points, by 2 goals at the 20-minute mark. And in fact, that was the game-high margin at that stage. And we sort of thought, well, South Adelaide, their reputation is not going to carry them through this match. They generally, in tight, tough games, they go missing in the second half. But Peter Rolfe was good. They went into three-quarter time with a 2-point lead, and then Wunke, with some great awareness, sets up a goal here, and they're away.
They were. It was important at the end, nearing the end of the third quarter, that they kicked those quick couple of goals and went in with a bit of momentum. But Wunke was definitely a dominant forward. They switched players on him, and he was still too strong and probably a little bit too smart down there.
This is one of the goals of the day too from Peter Rolfe. He managed to roll it through, and that was at the 27-minute mark, and it was all over Red Rover. And on a cold and wet day, it was a tough day for football, and certainly playing at Alberton's tough at any time for the Panthers. But they got over Port Adelaide by 23 points in the end. 13-10 to 9-11, and great reward for hard work for South Adelaide as we look through the statistics for the game, and there are a couple of telling ones there.
I think early in the game, Port were up with the kicks and pretty even with the handballs, but by the end, strong finish by South, and they ended up slightly up on the kicks. I guess centre breaks, if you look at that tells the story of the game, that maybe Port, Micklejohn and Marrick were getting first hands on it, but it was who was getting the next touch, which was what was counting, and 17-9. You'd assume that South won with a stat like that.
Until we win the flag, we win!